A few years ago, a mother and father decided they needed a break, so they wanted to head out for a night on the town. They called the most trusted babysitter. When the babysitter arrived, the two children were already fast asleep in bed. So the babysitter just got to sit around and make sure everything was okay with the children. Later that night, the babysitter got bored and went to watch TV. But she couldn't watch it downstairs because they did not have cable downstairs. The parents didn't want the children watching too much garbage. So she called them and asked if she could watch cable in the parents' room. Of course, the parents said it was okay. But the babysitter had one final request. She asked if she could cover up the angel statue outside the bedroom window with a blanket or cloth. At the very least, close the blinds because it made her nervous. The phone line went silent for a moment, and the father who was talking to the babysitter at the time said, "Take the children and get out the house. We will call the police if we do not have an angel statue." The police found all three of the house occupants dead within 3 minutes of the call. No angel statue was ever found. Alleyways are always filled with doors, many of which never seem to lead anywhere. Once in a while, you may find a door that seems completely out of place and time. These old doors look like they could be centuries old and have very delicate and ornate designs carved into them. These are the one-way doors. Now one day you might find yourself down an alley, staring at one of these mysterious doors, overcome with curiosity. You approach the door and test the copper doorknob, surprised to find the door has been left open. You swing the door open slowly, finding that it's extremely dark, despite it being rather bright in the alley. You're unable to see anything beyond the doorway. Still bugged by the possibilities of what lies behind the door, you go against your better judgment and step into pitch darkness. You blink a few times, allowing your eyes to adjust to the brightness, and realize you're standing back in the alley facing the door. You try the doorknob again, except that this time it's locked. The last thing you remember doing is going through this old wooden door, except for now you're standing back in the alley. You shrug it off as some memory lapse or deja vu moment, and see the door was now locked. You decide to head home. As you turn around, you see a man heading towards the door, clearly as curious about the door as you were. "Don't bother, bro, it's locked," you tell him. He doesn't mind you and keeps walking towards the door, going straight through you. "Wait, what the fuck?" You stare wide-eyed as the man continues to make his way towards the door. "How did he? Is that man a ghost unless I'm the..." The man reaches the doorknob and opens the door. He pokes his head into the darkness before fully stepping through the doorway. As the man steps into the room, his foot doesn't find any ground. He falls 30 feet down to the bottom of the pit inside the room. He dies the instant he hits the pile of dead bodies at the bottom of the pit. His body lies neatly next to yours. It was 4:03 in the morning and I woke up screaming. It was my dream. In my dream, I was everyone I ever knew or loved killed by the creature. It had a short, fat body with long, slender arms with ended with claws that looked more like swords than claws. His eyes were slits that glowed red in the darkness, and his teeth were long like horns and sharp like steak knives. It looked at me before I killed them, laughed each time before it ripped apart my loved ones with its sharp claws. How had it found us? It tricked me into letting it into my home by mimicking the voice of my father. It didn't come in without permission. It told me after it ripped out my mother's heart. The dream ended with the creature laughing his evil cackle and slowly walking towards me, dragging its claws on the floor. I screamed and sat up. I was in my room, in my bed, safe again. 4:03. I hear a knock on the door and I felt instantly. "Tommy, I heard you screaming." "Are you all right?" I heard my mum say. "What a relief. Mum's here." "I'm fine, Mum." "I just had a bad dream," I replied, the relief washing over me. "Okay, honey." I got you a glass of water. Do you want it? Mum said back to me. Sure, come in, I said. And as those words left my mouth, I remembered that it was September, and I had moved back into my college dorm 3 weeks ago. Every month, a beautiful woman would drop her film off at the camera store to get it developed. He didn't know her name, but she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, and was also a wonderful photographer. It made his day when he developed her photos. The pictures of her, sometimes at the beach in a bikini, sometimes at picnic lunch, always smiling, a close of her face revealing her beautiful clear blue eyes that he would dream about at work when it was a quiet day. One time a naked photo even slipped through a self-portrait she had taken in the bathroom. This was before digital cameras and there was no way to delete photos of a roll, but of course, as he suspected, this one was put in just for him to see. He kept it. One month a man started to appear in her photos. This man was smiling too, and hugging her in many of the photos, sometimes at the beach, sometimes at a picnic. He didn't like it, so he got rid of all the photos with the other man in them. After this, she didn't get her photos developed there anymore. This passed, however, and soon enough photos of her started to come through the shop again. The man she was with didn't appear in the photos anymore, and she didn't smile much anymore. In fact, she appears to be crying in front of most of the photos. Most of the pictures are taken from outside a glass window, and the only close-up of her now, of her beautiful eyes, is when they're closed and she's fast asleep.